So let's dive into 10 things I would tell my younger self. Do what you want to do. And I know it might seem scary, but you will find much more joy in doing what you want to do rather than doing what somebody else wants you to do because it is your life, right? For example, I went to go do a master's degree in marketing and sales. And because my uncle kind of forced me into doing a master's even before I was ready to do one. And so I just went with the first thing that came to mind, marketing and sales, since I was already working in marketing. But now that I think about it, like years later, I'm wondering like, would I really still take a master's in marketing and sales, knowing that other topics interest me much more than marketing and sales do for a master's degree? Because I did bachelor's in business, so I covered the marketing aspect. So just take that into consideration. Do what makes you happy. Say yes to new experiences. I know this might seem super scary in the beginning, but you will end up meeting such great people and live such great experiences if you just say yes to to new experiences. For example, I had a friend that you can call an influencer, right? She's trying to be an influencer, and she had a shoot for a YouTube video, and she asked me to drive with her because it was um, up north 2 hours, and I said, yeah, sure. Ended up that somebody canceled or somebody was late, and they had needed somebody to fill in, and I was the only extra, if you want to call it that way. And so they asked me, and since I was like, you know what the heck was the worst thing that can happen? It's not a main role, so let's just do it. Turned out I actually really loved doing it. And the rest of the year, I ended up doing a couple of more shoots and also started modeling for some friends who started their own businesses, who had been asking for a couple of years for me to model. And I never really wanted to because so, I had so low self esteem that I didn't want to do that. But at some point, you just need to say, fudge it and just go for it, because saying yes will change the person that you are today. It's okay not to have it all figured out. Adults, most of the time, they don't have anything figured out in their life. They're just trying to wing it and just see week by week, month by month, even some day by day. So it's totally okay to not have everything figured out when you just graduate high school, for example. You don't need a step by step plan that you need to follow. I used to be somebody who never really had a plan to being the person who had everything planned out until I was 30. Don't do that. It's not attainable. I Once I failed like one or two goals because it wasn't attainable. You cannot plan for years in advance, right? Once I realized I wasn't hitting certain goals, I was like, I kind of fell into a slump. And then I realized that it's okay not to have it all figured out. Just go with the wind and see where life takes you, because that's when the most beautiful opportunities come along and when new doors open. Set boundaries. This is something that I've learned at the end of 2023, is that if you have an empty cup, you cannot fill somebody else's cup. This is so important. You need to set boundaries for yourself, as you only have one life and there is only so much that you can give and sacrifice. So set boundaries. You don't have to accept everything that gets thrown at you. That is friends, family, loved ones, like boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It doesn't matter. Set boundaries, because if you don't, people will keep crossing the boundaries that you think that you have laid out, but that you never really did like have laid out. That's something that I learned while going through a relationship on and off for 8 years. I never had any boundaries, and whenever he wanted to break up, I was like, okay, sure, I understand. And when he wanted to come back, I was like, okay, sure, then we're back together. Because yes, I was young, I was completely in love with him, but it doesn't change the fact that I should have had boundaries, and I might have wouldn't, I might not have spent 8 years of my life on and off in a relationship. Learn to forgive yourself. Everybody makes mistakes, and that's okay as long as you learn from them. Get up and move forward, because looking in the past is never going to get you any place forward. You're just going to stay stuck at where you are right now in life, and nobody wants that. Everybody wants to move forward in life. So be able to forgive yourself, because forgiveness is something that you need for yourself. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, because I used to make some mistakes. For example, the 8-year relationship that was on and off, when I finally said enough is enough and I broke up, it took me like months to forgive myself that I have wasted 8 years. Because at the end of the day, it's not 8 years wasted, because I've learned a lot from that relationship. I've learned a lot about me. I've learned a lot how I am in a relationship. I've learned to set boundaries. So it's okay to make mistakes or do things that you regret today, but the only thing you can do is move forward. So forgive yourself. Be unique. Be your unapologetically self. That is so important, because really it is a superpower to being yourself. It is so much fun to be yourself, and you'll get accepted in gr- group of people, group of friends where you really feel that you belong, or in places where you should be, and you don't feel as the outcast, or you don't feel like you don't belong. This took me a long time to realize, because I used to always feel like the outcast. Like I just thought that doesn't matter what, I'm always going to feel like that outcast. And then a couple of years ago, I met some friends, and in 2024, I started hanging out with them much, much more. And with them, I don't feel like an outcast. I just feel that I can be myself, my unapologetically self. And yes, we have differences. We discuss things. They have another point of view as me, but we grow from it, and it broadens my own perspective on certain topics. So it's so important to find a spot where you belong, where you can be yourself, because being somebody that you're not is going to drain you either way. You cannot fit in a mold. You're going to be unhappy if you try to fit in a mold that does not belong for you, to you, or is not made for you, right? People won't change for you. This is something that I've noticed that a lot of people have trouble understanding or accepting, is that no person will change for your benefit. They will only change for themselves. If they tell you, "Oh, I'm going to change for you," just know that it's temporary, because they're not doing it for themselves. So it's not going to last. It's more putting up an act rather than actually changing. So keep that in mind, that people do not change for you. And this is something that a lot of women in particular struggle with, especially in relationships and with friendships. Just know that that isn't true. I had some friends that I thought that would change for me, for us, for the benefit of our friendship. Turned out it was just a facade, and well, it didn't last long. So just learn from it. People don't change for you. Listen to your elders. And this might clash with the first thing that I said, to do what you want to do. But just know that whenever they give you advice, is because they have made mistakes and that they want you to learn from without making them, or that they honestly truly believe that this is better for you. You don't have to do exactly what the elders tell you. And when I say elders, I don't mean like people who are 80, 90 years old. I just mean people who are older than you. Like I have a best friend who is like 9 years older than me, and I always thought like, oh, I know this better than you. This is my life, whatever. Turned out I made the same mistakes as her, and she just told me that because she wanted me to avoid making those mistakes and lose time in my life. So just know that when they say something to you, is not because they want to control you. Is because they honestly, genuinely think that is the best thing for you. So just take it into consideration when you're making a decision or making a choice. Like I have some friends who thought that their parents never believed that they could be singers or actors or do something in a creative craft, right? And that is not because they don't believe in their child having talent. It's just that in the world they grew up in, they never really excuse me, they never really saw anybody make it or make a living of that. So they don't want their kid to go through a rough life because of that. So just know that they're telling you this because they love you. And just take it into consideration when making your decisions. Don't base your decision on it either. Be financially smart. This is so important. I used to be super financially smart with my money, and then I started just giving it out, just giving it away. Like friends would say, "Oh, can I borrow like 20? Can I borrow 30? Can I borrow 5?" And at the end of the day, they never really gave it back, and I was always too afraid to ask for my money back. But just know it's your money. Like if you borrow, you should get it back. And that led to me losing so much money over the years because I was the only one who was working for my friends when I was 16, and for some friends I was the only one working all the way up to 18, and I didn't really have the best friends growing up. So just know that be responsible with your money. It's your money, and be smart about it. Later on in life, I received a sum from my grandparents, and I just decided to go to Mexico and live there for 8 months. And then I just spend it all. Like, because I thought, oh, yeah, this is fun and this is fun. But now I look back and okay, I had fun in Mexico, but I could have used that money much, much more wisely. I don't know if you say that, but I could have used it more wisely. I think you say that. It's like I could have invested it. I could have invested it into my first car that I bought instead of buying it all on credit. Do not buy on credit, by the way. It sucks. Um, but yeah, just be smart about it. Think about it. Be financially, how do you call it, literate. So inform yourself about money, investments, and think about your future because it does matter. Take care of yourself. You only have one body. You only have one mind. So give it the proper care and nutrition and time off that it needs. Find something that for your mind that you can do that actually lets you relax and take a step back. For me, it was meditating and praying. So I started meditating and praying like a couple years ago. And honestly, in the beginning, it's so hard to like stay still and meditate. It's, trust me, it's so hard, but it's something that you learn to do. So over the years, I got better in it. And it honestly is just soothing and it calms me down so much. But some people, they hate meditating. It's just not for them. So find something that's for you. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's going for a run. It doesn't matter. Just find something that is for your mind that takes all the stress of life and just makes you think about something else. Next to that, your body is your temple. Everything you put into your mouth is literally going to reflect on the outside as well. And also, if you cause a lot of inflammation in your body because of the foods that you're eating, you're gonna have pains everywhere in your body. So it really reflects. Just stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, and just eat healthy. Yeah, you can eat a pizza or candy or chocolate here and there. Like, just don't restrict yourself from eating anything, basically, because then you're gonna crave it more. But do think about what you put in your body and make sure that it's healthy like 90% of the time. Thank you for watching, and please leave a thumbs up or comment and subscribe so I can keep posting these videos and making them. To Lost and Lessons, stay crispy.